Hey folks, it's Aviation. Welcome back to the channel, and we are up here in North Carolina today trying out two really cool mountain airports here. They are payware airports. I'll put the ad codes in the description. You can get these in a marketplace. They are really cheap, like a couple of pounds, a couple of dollars type cheap, and totally worth getting. They're really unique places out here in an area I hadn't really flown before up here in the mountains in North Carolina. Now, I'm currently in Ireland. I'm taking my first vacation in 4 years. It's weird. Yeah, so this is being uploaded for your viewing pleasure whilst I'm away. I'll be, of course, answering the comments as always, but let's get ourselves ready to rock and roll. There's deer over there. Deer! Anyway, so we are post-Sim Update 8, which means that things have changed slightly. And there are some bugs and things. It is the day after Sim Update 8 because I've had to... Yeah, go away. I love how this is still... annoying, Carenado. Thank you. Okay, avionics on. Batteries on. Cycle those navigation light switches, make sure those are good. We have our route planned. Of course, we had to do updates to the back-end navigation system, which meant that if you have things that are working title G1000 or the G3 NXI, or you have the PMS 50, aka the GTN 750, or you have the TDI, or the PMS 530s, the freeware one, it all wasn't working. So you have to update that, of course. Okay, right. We are good to rock and roll here. We'll get our fuel pumps on. Now, we are at about 5,000 feet of altitude. We're looking at about 14 knots of wind from about 320. Or 324 technically right now, and that is going to make things interesting because we have an uphill and a downhill runway here at where are we? We are currently located at Mountain View, also known as Burnsville, North Carolina, and it is a kind of a residential airport type golf resort type situation here. Yeah, you've got a nice golf course up here on the mountain top. You've got the airport. You've got a couple of properties here that are slap bang onto the airport, but, well, less so. I think it's more of a golf resort that happens to also have the airport at it, looking at that sort of situation there, so there you go. But I do quite appreciate the raggedy-looking apron, which is very little, and, well, yes. A couple of cars here. Is that a... That's a Courchevel. I was right. I'm not stupid. Anyway, back to our airplane. Let's get ourselves rocking and rolling. I'm going to be starting both engines at once again because alpha yoke, and I'm not... I like it too much to do it. Otherwise, I like to be able to click. Let me check the fuel. Okay, yeah. Let me just wiggle the knob slightly so it actually registers as having fuel. We're leaning off already because we're at 5,000 feet elevation. And we want to have a bit of aircraft engine performance in this one, so... Okay, head is turned on. Alright. Burnsville traffic, November 403 Sierra X-ray. Entering runway 14, departure to the northeast. Oh. Here we go. This is one of those times where it's ideal for the Skymaster because we have a lot of grunt with this airplane and we're taking some slightly higher altitude airports and tighter conditions. So the single engine performance, but with the twin engine power, is going to be nice. And look at that wind. Yeah, we're taking off with a tailwind. A gusting tailwind that is not quite on the tail. So we're going to be blowing to one side and with a tailwind. But we have no choice because it's a downhill runway. We got to go with a tailwind, and it's a 14-knot tailwind, so it's not insignificant. One nice thing about Burnsville, though, is it shows you your impending doom in signs at the side of the runway. Well, rather now than never. Burnsville traffic, November 403 Sierra X-ray, taking off runway 14, departure northeast. Alright, let's hold on to this thing and see what we can do. Don't come near me, forklift. Full power. Things are going to get light once we head off here. fine. Clear that. Alright, we'll pull our flaps up now. Build speed before we pull the gear up. Whoa, hello. The wind seems snatchier since the sim update. I don't know what it is, but I know they made changes to how propellers work, so most aircraft will be a little bit off, but notably, the air feels grabbier in the mountains, I think is the best description for it. Gear coming up. The reason why I wait for speed before pulling the gear up in this aircraft is because it opens big clamshell doors at the rear of the fuselage, as you'll... What button am I pressing? That's the one. Look at these things. Yeah. I don't want that. Alright, so let's get ourselves on course here. Now we're clear from the airport. And let's get our power set appropriately. Okay, we're running about 23.5 on the manifold. Let's pull our propellers back here, get them set for flight. We've got our takeoff performance necessary. Don't need any more altitude, we expect. I'll pull the RPM back to 2400. And that should do us just fine. Not a long flight today, but it should be an interesting approach and landing. And my alternator wasn't on. That was a pre-flight checklist item skipped. Now I'm going to switch over my fuel pumps to the low pumps, and I can't reach that knob. There we go. Prop sync is on. Okay, we're returning to course here. Flying over the beautiful mountains here in North Carolina. Some gorgeous scenery. Definitely moonshine country. By a long stretch. Some good old boys up here. Adjust my seat slightly, make things a little bit more manageable. Okay, so we're coming through 6,000 feet right now, which is about realistically as high as we're going to need to go. We're not going to be climbing any further, so we'll trim this thing out and get ourselves level. Below us, the air is pretty reasonable, but there is some terrain ahead I don't want to particularly get involved with, so we'll plan for a gentle en route descent towards that ridgeline ahead of us, which should leave us with plenty of room and energy to make this a little bit more efficient flight. We're about 20 inches there. This thing just keeps wanting to constantly climb. Not sure why. There you go. So my experiences so far with the Bravo Quadrant have been really good. I love this thing. Really well behaving and quite enjoyable. But Sim Update 8 has been interesting so far. Apparently there were some issues with performance and stutter. Some people are getting it probably as it's only some people, and they can't fully replicate it. It may be hardware related, so one thing to watch out for there. I've not seen that, but I've not seen performance increase either. One thing I do note though is that if I want to zoom in on something like a screen here and get rid of that zoom, I can keep that now, which is honestly fantastic. Oh, there we go, GPS mode. Let's keep obs on. But it doesn't zoom back out again the second you click off from actual when you're map free look, which is really nice. There were some changes to the GPS systems, but unfortunately it seems like a lot of the default avionics still include time CL waypoint or the time to climb waypoint for some reason still in the list, which is insane, but it's still a thing. A little bit of cloud here. Let's get ourselves below this. There we go. Pull ourselves back level, give it a bit more power. Nope, okay. Wind's being a little choppy today. Actually having to fight to keep this thing descending. Keep forgetting how low the nose is on the Skymaster. Okay, looking good. I'm hoping I'm on course here. I have no idea where I actually am. Oh, we're up there. Right. So we are on course. This isn't locked on the aircraft, which I'm not sure how to fix. Because I need to go read the manual for this thing. More cloud. Want to try and stay below this with temperatures as they currently are. Could be in for a little bit of icing conditions, so drop our noses below it, but the concerning part is the mountains ahead mean we're going to be right in the path of this, so that's something to be aware of at least. Come on, stop. This aircraft just wants to constantly climb. It's very potent. Okay. So, to our right, we'll be on course here. That's new. Doubled up texture, some sort of bug since update 8. I didn't notice that before. Why do I keep dragging this manually? It's got to be the recenter button. There we go. Did that recenter it for me? I think it did. I'm stuck in some sort of mode. Okay, so we should be crossing across here, and in about 10 miles I'm expecting we'll be approaching our destination. About 13 miles at least. Is that 13? That is 13 miles, okay. We're going to go ground speed right now. We're heading almost directly crosswind, so we're dealing with being blown sideways, which means the wind is coming from this direction. So we are going to get a lot of turbulence over these mountains. As you can start to see the aircraft moving around here. Making things a little bit more lively for us. Yeah, turns out the weather appears a little more spirited than one would like. And 14 knots of wind will be okay for us as we arrive, because at Banner Elk, where we're heading to, we have runway 30 available to us, so 324 gives us almost a direct headwind of 14 knots, which will be rather nice for landing after that bum-clenching departure from Burnsville, Mountain Top. Should be a fairly simple run down here. Gotta love the terrain out here, it's gorgeous. Dump some power here and descend into the mountains. We are approaching, so we want to make sure we've lost a lot of this altitude. We can probably drop another 1,500 feet before we're really having to be more conservative till we arrive at the Courchevel Valley, but that's no problem. I've got to say, this Skymaster really has oodles of performance. It's exactly what I wanted from it. It's powerful, it's reactive, it's nimble. It's very well behaved, actually, given its size and weird shape. We maintain this descent rate. Should leave us good. Okay, where is Banner Elk? I'm suspecting it'll be across this ridgeline ahead of us in the next valley, but I'm not entirely sure. We'll have to circle around when we get there and get ourselves on approach for the runway, but I'll need to work out where it is first. That'll be the big challenge. Catching a bit of chop again already. Might make our approach interesting, but we'll have to see. I do know Banner Elk is in the bottom of a valley, so unlike Mountain Top, where we'd be dealing with updrafts and downdrafts, we should be dealing with the prevailing direction, but you can never quite tell. It is gusty though. We've already established that, so that can make things a little bit more lively for us. expecting it to be beyond here. 6.4 miles, that would make visual sense. I know there's a golf course there as well, because apparently in North Carolina, a lot of their airports, at least in the backcountry, are all surrounded by golf courses. Or at least the countryside airports rather than the regionals, GA fields. Lots of golf courses. Everyone in North Carolina loves golf courses or NASCAR. Gorgeous river down below. Okay. Whoa, hello. Come on, don't be spicy. 4.1, we've got to be here soon. It must be just in that depression below and in front. I think it is. Yep. Is that it down below? I don't... It can't be, but it must be. Unless it's on the far side of here. Where are you? That's a public road. Oh, this might be more squirrely than I thought. Where are you? Got the river coming up beyond this ridgeline. Everything seems so deceptive out here in terms of location. It's all constant mountains and ridges and valleys. Or mountains, hills, I should say. Okay, we have our destination coming up to be on our left, just past the river. Got the water in sight. Let's pull the power back. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, yes, I know my gear's up. Shut up. Gear going down. That's our runway right there. So we'll be landing from this direction, so we're approaching most of the downwind right now. Banner traffic number 403 X-ray. Inbound for a landing runway 30, joining left downwind. Okay, we'll overextend our downwind here because we've kind of arrived a little bit close with how the terrain is set up, and I'm not sure a downwind and a base in classic fashion is going to really work here, so I'm going to extend down the valley here, turn around, and bring the nose in. As we catch some chop already, put a notch of flaps down, props to full forward, and we're about 4,500 to 5,000 feet still, so it is not exactly thick air. Air density outside will put us at more like 6,500 feet based on temperatures right now, so we need to be a little bit more... Well, we're reasonably good with it being cold, but it's also fairly high altitude, so... There we are. Oh, this is getting choppier and choppier. Okay, runway in sight. Banner out traffic, remember 403 X-ray. Show me on final, runway 30. Full stop. Okay. Gonna maintain around 80 for now. Catching a bit of wind here. And we're gonna have this ridge we're going over right before they drop down towards the runway, which will make things a little bit more lively, but 14 knots of headwind and a bit of a steep dive is preferable to that tailwind and a downhill landing. Got an uphill grade here, which means we should stop relatively well if we could drop down here. I may need to slip it though to the side of this ridge. That's it, come on. That's it, come on. Good girl, come on. I feel like I treat airplanes like horses. Whew. Oh, steady, 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 steady. Whew. I got slippery. I don't know what happened to us there, but we started going for it down that runway. Probably do a landing gear inspection after that one. Definitely in a pilot's seat inspection after that one. I'm not sure what is that got us that squiffy, but I think we were light and the wind was catching us still. But I still had flaps deployed, which I was trying to reach to get retracted, because with where my yoke is right now, it's in an awkward position to get to the actual quadrant. Not sure what had caused that, but I was a little bit sideways there. Looking at the windsock, it's likely the gusty winds that caught us. Because the runway here is on a bit of a rise, actually. It's got low terrain to both sides of it, and there are trees, but it did not seem to want to stay straight. Whew. That was, that wakes you up, doesn't it? Not even finished my first cup of tea for the day, and I'm already, wide awake. Well, here's our parking area. Looks like we're joining a bizjet down here. I do like airports like this where you've got some real variety to the location, rather than just being this flat, boring, make it out of a crackerjack box, you know? Well, there's parking up there as well, but I like this one. It's downhill. Okay, we are good there. Wow. That was a lively little adventure, wasn't it? Oh, the camera has wandered off. Where are we? Oh, we're over here. So yeah, this is Banner Elk. So you've got the big dive down past the tree line over there. And you've got this descending runway that's climbing up into the distance over there. Dropping down over here with a rising start. The parking area we are in here. And we have, of course, the hangar area up at the top over there. With a small tower. It's a really nice little airport, actually. I don't know who made these two, but I will include the icons in the description. And, like I said, you can get them on the marketplace. They're actually rather cheap. So always worth picking up and great fun flying. Definitely a challenge, especially in windier conditions up here. High altitude and definitely interesting approaches. Thank you for watching, guys. I will see you all next time. Videos will resume as normal next week, of course, when I'm back from Ireland. I'll see you all soon. Bye.